Hi everybody, welcome to what week are we at? Week 6, but giant number 5, the giant of regret. So today we tackle regret. So maybe it's only me, but have you ever looked back and thought, you know what? If I had only never been in that relationship, or if I had only studied that subject or pursued that degree, or if I'd only taken that position at that certain organization, I call it the coulda, woulda, shouldas of life. And I started off this whole chapter on regret with these words. I said, can I bullfacedly state that I have never looked back to mourn my decisions? No. I used to say, if I had only pursued my high school passions, I would be at the top of my industry by now. I often look back at my career journey with unhealthy regret. Thankfully, I've learned to give this giant a few blows with my growing awareness of God's words and His promises. I now understand that negative reviews of my love life, career, or financial management did not help my quest for greatness. What helped was removing the labels of failure and relabeling them as learning lessons. So I have come to realize, and just as is physically impossible when you're in your car and you're driving, to be looking in the rearview mirror and the windscreen at the same time. Even though you have two eyes, this is physically impossible. It's just similarly with life. You're either looking forward with anticipation or you're looking back, oftentimes with regret. In the book, I use the interesting story of Jonah when I gave the biblical example, because he actually regretted that he did something that resulted in good, you know? And this is fascinating to me, but I think, like a lot of us, when life doesn't turn out as we want it to, whether it's good for somebody else or not, we get upset and we regret that we had any part in it. So we regret sometimes even the good things in life, or we get one-sided. Like if you regret a marriage, you forget that you have 3 beautiful children that resulted from said marriage. So if you could get in the time tunnel, you young people don't know what a time tunnel was, go Google it. If you could get in the time tunnel and go backwards and remove said marriage, then you would not have your kids. So living your life in regret can be a pretty dangerous thing to do. This is highly unfortunate, living a life of regret, because one, it results in we have stinking thinking. It keeps us in neutral. If you trying to take a step back and take a step forward at the same time, sorry, that's my mouse that dropped, then more often than not, you are just stuck in neutral. It wastes resources such as our precious time. We only have a certain amount of time each day to do something productive. You spend that time sitting and thinking, oh, I could have, oh, I would have, oh, I should have, and you're wasting precious time that you could be building a new future. When we are stuck in regret, it causes a phenomena that I like to call counting. And I talk about this in the book, but what I really am referring to is sometimes we sit down and we calculate, oh, I have put 7 years in this relationship, I'm not going anywhere. Oh, I worked for this company for 15 years now and I'm not going anywhere till I get my wristwatch and my plat. Counting up how much time, effort, or resources that we've put into something with regret. So how can we combat this? How do we combat this enemy of regret? So some of the weapons that I talk about in the book, and the first one is, I think, my favorite, is learning. Life teaches us lessons that no amount of money can pay for. Life taught you. You lived through it. You made what you thought was a mistake, but you have learned so much. Even if you're in an unhealthy relationship or whatever, you've learned. You have lessons that you can now take with you and not just use for yourself, but use to help others along their journey. So it's priceless. What life teaches us in what we look back as regret are life lessons. Movement. The second weapon that we can have against regret is movement, actually moving forward. Even if you're taking baby steps forward to build a new life, it is better than you sitting and being stuck in regret. Even teeny weeny steps are steps forward. You're actually moving and creating a vision. I talked about, you want to change your narrative basically from what could have been to what could be. So you want to create a new vision for your life. If you're creative, you want to create a new vision board or what have you, something that gets you to start visualizing and conceptualizing what could be as opposed to what was. So you're basically trying to move from the back there, you pick up all your life lessons and you're going forward. So some of the quick tips that I gave for this particular section: focus forward, focus forward, focus forward. I did a webinar once called Focus Forward, because you're going to go where your focus is. Remember, regret is an enemy to progress. It really, really is. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck and you can't go back. Only God is the He was, He is, and He will be. None of us can really go back, and oftentimes we cannot change the things that happened to us or that we did. So staying in our position of regret really and truly isn't doing anything, unless you just want to extract those life lessons and move forward. You cannot look forward and back at the same time. I reminded us at the end that God is leading you to bigger and better things. You just got to open your eyes to the humongous possibilities of the future. I read a book once, I can't remember, maybe somebody can remind me. And the book said that every person is capable of change. Unless you're a tree, you can't move. Trees can't move, they're stuck there unless somebody moves them. We all can change and move forward. A lot of us are intimidated by change, and we just rather just sit there, keep looking back, looking back, looking back. But as fearful, as intimidating as moving forward and change may be, it is oftentimes a much healthier place to be than living in just a cycle of sorrowful regret. I said to record the life lessons, learn and move on, and behold, God is doing a new thing. So this was a short video because there's not a whole lot to say about regret, but you have to dig into your life and figure out what are those things that you keep harping on. I mean, I don't mean like occasionally your mind may pop back there to high school and what have you. I mean every single week, every time you see somebody, this thing is coming up in your soul. Oh, I could have been that if I could have done that. Or you see an ex-boyfriend, if I had only done this, we could be married by now. And you're just living in this unhealthy place that really is not helping you to move forward. So figure out, what are you regretting? Why are you regretting it? And I want you to purposely, if you're going to go back there in your mind, to take some time and record, what did that teach you and how can you do things differently as you go forward. All right, thank you so much for listening to me again today, and tune in next week. Our next enemy, fault finding. This is a really interesting giant, and I nickname it as the four-headed beast. So you have to tune in next week to find out all about our enemy of fault finding. God bless you. Have a wonderful day and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.